everyone, and welcome to Online Storytime. This week's Storytime is about hippos because hippos are my favorite animal, so I wanted to read some hilariously fun stories about hippopotamuses. But before we get started, I wanted to talk to everyone about summer reading. Since summer has started and everyone is out of school, we have a summer reading program where you sign up and you get this wonderful reading log with your name on it, and you read 10 books between now and the end of July, and you bring it back to the library, and you get a free book and some other prizes. And if you are too little to read on your own, you can have a grown-up read to you, and it still counts. So you can go onto our website as well and sign up online at kclsummerchallenge.org and track your reading progress there, and then print out the completion certificate and bring it to the library. So lots of ways to participate this summer. We also have lots of fun programs, including lunch at the library. That's only at Beale, but every day, Monday through Friday, for June and July, we will be offering free lunch to children ages 2 to 18. So lots of yummy, delicious things to eat during the summer, and we'll have lots of fun programs that happen during the lunch, so we hope to see you. All right, now we can get started with our stories. First one is called Hippopotamus, and it's by Janine Willis. Hippopotamus had a spotamus on her bottomus. "It's measles," said Weasel. "You sat in a breezel and caught a diseasel. There's only one treatment, exposing your seatment to sunshine and heatment." Potamus stood on her head, tail to the sun, like Weasel said, but the spotamus stayed red. "It's hippopox," said Fox. "Wear woolly pants and socks, warm petticoats and frocks." But Potamus got hotamus, grumpamus, and grotamus, and still she had the spotamus. "It's jungle fever," said Beaver. "I believe we should leave her to scrub her skin with soot." So Potamus got sootamus from nosamus to footamus, but the spotamus stayed put. "It's hippolumps," said Lion. "It's potamumps," said Shrew. "It's hippoflu," said Rhino, but no one had a clue. "I'm a doctor," said the Croc. "Do you feel any pain? When I stroke it and poke it, let me try that again. A needle in the bottomus will rid you of the spotamus." Despite his perfect shotamus, the cure was in vain. So poor Hippo got a shot and it still didn't make that spot go away. "It's a blister," said her sister. "You should pop it right away." "It's an ingrown hair," said Brown Bear. "Just smother it with clay." "It's notamus, what rotamus, you clotamus," his snake. "The lippy hippopotamus is allergic to cake. Cut out chippochocamus, eat lettuce for a week." But the spot on Hippo's bottomus stuck firmly to her cheek. Then, all sad and snotamus, there came a little lad who searched round a lotamus for something he once had. He knew he'd put it somewhere, but alas, he had forgotamus, until he saw the body of the spotty hippopotamus. The small boy had a sneaky peek and tweaked the hippo's bum. "That's not a spot," he squeaked. "That's my bubble gum." So that wasn't a spot, it was just bubble gum the whole time. You see the little boy, he's chewing it. I don't know if I'd want to chew it after it's on the hippopotamus's bottom. That was pretty silly. All right, our next story is also about a little boy in it with some hippos. And it's called The Boy Who Was Followed Home. It's by Margaret Mayhe, and it's one of my favorite stories from when I was little because it's quite adorable and quite funny. One day, a small, quite ordinary boy called Robert was coming home from school. He looked over his shoulder, and there was a hippopotamus following him. Robert was surprised and pleased. Pleased because he had always liked hippopotami, and surprised because nothing like this had ever happened to him before. When he got home, the hippopotamus followed him up the steps and tried to come in at the door. Robert thought his mother would not like this, so he shooed it away. It went and lay down in the goldfish pool on the lawn. "What on earth is that in the goldfish pool?" asked Robert's father. "It's a hippopotamus, father," said Robert. "Really," said the father, "people should keep their hippos chained up and not allow them to go climbing into other people's goldfish pools." The next day, the hippopotamus followed Robert to school. Robert was working and playing all day and did not think of the hippopotamus until he went home in the afternoon. Then there was a rustling noise behind him. When he turned around, there were 4 hippos following him. Robert was even more pleased and more surprised than he had been the day before. He was delighted to think that he was the sort of boy hippopotami would follow. When he got home, the hippopotami went and sat in the goldfish pool. It was quite a big pool, but with 4 hippos in it, it seemed quite small. "There are 4 hippopotami in our goldfish pool this evening," said Robert's mother. "That seems like quite a few." The next day, the 4 hippos quietly followed Robert to school, but that afternoon when he walked home, 9 hippopotami followed him and got into the goldfish pool. Do you see them there following him home? They're causing a traffic jam, all those hippos. Things went on like this for several days. Robert's parents, who were very polite, tried to ignore the growing number of hippopotami crowding into the goldfish pool. But when there were 27 hippos jostling each other all over the lawn, Robert's father gave them a gloomy look and said, "I wonder where they come from." "They follow me home from school," Robert said. "They like me." "There seems to be only one solution for it. We'll have to get a witch to put a spell on you to make you unattractive to hippos." Robert was sorry because, as you know, he liked hippos, but he had to admit 27 were too many for any lawn. The father looked up witches in the telephone book and selected Mrs. Kathy Squinge, who advertised children as her specialty. He made an appointment, and the following midnight, sharp on the broomstick hour, Mrs. Squinge appeared down the chimney. "Hippo trouble, I see," she said, having counted 43 hippos on the lawn that evening. "A simple pill will solve all difficulties." "Give it to us quickly," said the father, anxious to get rid of Mrs. Kathy Squinge, who was not very respectable looking. "There's one disadvantage, perhaps," began Mrs. Squinge. "The pill does cure people of hippos, but—" "No but," said the father grandly. "Just give us the pill." So Mrs. Squinge passed the pill to Robert, who swallowed it down. "The pill is guaranteed," said Mrs. Squinge, "but perhaps I should warn you." "Enough," said the father, and shooed Mrs. Squinge up the chimney. Uh-oh, she was trying to warn him about something. Sure enough, the next morning the pill worked wonderfully. Although Robert seemed no different, he had no sooner stepped outside than 43 hippopotami slunk away from him, giving him reproachful looks over their shoulders. Within minutes, the lawn and even the streets were empty of hippopotami. Robert couldn't help being a bit sorry, as he was a boy who liked hippos, but off he went to school happily enough. He played and worked all day, and at last it was time to go home. As he walked along, he turned around, half expecting to see the hippos, but there wasn't a hippo in sight. But what is in sight? What's behind him? What's the side effect of that pill? There are giraffes now following him home. Robert was very pleased. There are giraffes now following him home. I don't know if that's better or worse than hippos. They're still pretty big animals too. All right. Our next story is called Hippos Go Berserk, and it's by Sandra Boynton. They're going to go berserk. I wonder what that means. One hippo all alone calls 2 hippos on the phone. 3 hippos at the door bring along another 4. 5 hippos come overdressed. 6 hippos show up with a guest. 7 hippos arrive in a sack. 8 hippos sneak in the back. 9 hippos come to work. All the hippos go berserk. They are having a wild party. All through the hippo night, hippos play with great delight. But at the hippo break of day, the hippos all must go away. 9 hippos and a beast join 8 hippos riding east, while 7 hippos moving west leave 6 hippos quite distressed. And 5 hippos then set forth with 4 hippos headed north. 3 hippos say, "Good day." The last 2 hippos go their way. 1 hippo, alone once more, misses the other 44. The end. That was a big hippo party they had there. 44 hippos. That's a lot of hippos. All right, we are going to sing a song together. It has a hippo in it and some other animals. You can stand up if you would like to do this song, standing up. And if you wouldn't, you can stay sitting. I'm going to stay sitting so you can still see me. So are you ready? We're going to clap our legs like this. A hippopotamus got up onto the bus. And all the people said, "You're squishing us." You got to squish your face because those hippos are squishing you. All right. Are you ready for the next animal? A cow got on the bus, and all the people said, "Move over." You do it again. Move over. A sheep got on the bus, and all the people said, "Back up, back up." All right, so our last one, you ready? A snake got on the bus, and all the people said, "Sit down, sit down." All right, now that you've kind of got the idea, we'll do it again together. Are you ready? Are you ready for our first animal, which was the hippo? Are you ready? A hippopotamus got up onto the bus, and all the people said, "You're squishing us." A cow got on the bus, and all the people said, "Move over." A sheep got onto the bus, and all the people said, "Back up, back up." A snake got on the bus, and all the people said, "Sit down." Very good. All right, wasn't that fun? If you did it standing up, then when we got to the sit down, you could have sat down. So our next story is one of my favorites too. And it's kind of fun to read because it's a lot of silly words. Like our spot book, this one's called the Hiccup Hippopotamus because this hippo has the hiccups. And this book is by Aaron Zenz. There was a hippopotamus who hiccuped quite a lot of us, and every time he got a us, he'd fall upon his bottomus. One day he saw an elephant with cakes of green and yellowfant. He tried to tell her, "Hello-elephant!" Hick! But it didn't go so well-elephant. She chased him toward a centipede, pouring new cementipede. He hicked by accidentipede, hick, and tripped the elephantipede. They ran near a rhinoceros with minty dental flosserus. His string went all crisscrosserus, hick, and that was the last strawcerus. They tried to find a therapy, some cure which they could share-a-pee, a what or why or where-a-pee, to stop this long nightmare-a-pee. So they wrapped him round with licorice and spun him very quickerish. They secured him to a buffalo and made him huff and puffalo. They acquired an aquarium and flashed him something scarium. They poured him tubs of vinegar and tickled his chinny-chin-chiniger. And then, at last, a miracle! His hiccup so severical just didn't reappearical. He grinned from ear to earicle until... Hick, hick, hick. What happened? Do you see? All of his friends ended up with the hiccups from the hippopotamus. So now they have to work on getting rid of them. All right, we are to our last story, and it is a fun story called Hilda Must Be Dancing. And I chose this one because our summer reading theme is read to the rhythm, and that means rhythm means things like music and dancing and movement. So we're going to read Hilda Must Be Dancing because it's about a dancing rhythmy hippo. And this one is by Karma Wilson. Hilda Hippo loved to dance, and so each day she practiced hard. She'd twist and turn and whirl and twirl, dressed in her favorite leotard. She'd spin a pretty pirouette, then leap and land on tippy-toe. She tangled oh so gracefully and square danced with a do-si-do. And while she danced in utter bliss, it sounded quite a lot like this. Ka-bump, ka-bump, crash, crash, smash. Thumpity-bump, thumpity-bump, boom, bang, bang. The jungle floor would shake and quake, and tidal wave would fill the lake. Her friends would shout, "For goodness sake, Hilda must be dancing." They all hoped Hilda's hobby was a stage that soon would pass, but after one loud shaky year, they knew this phase would last and last and last. While Hilda danced flamenco in her favorite pair of heels, bananas fell in gooey heaps, shaken from their peels. Swisha, swisha, clap, clap, jump, jump, jump. Hilda must be dancing, cried the monkeys from the trees. Perhaps she'd take up knitting if we asked her pretty please. Hilda tried to sit and knit. She didn't like it, not one bit. The yarn got tangled, so she quit. I think I'll stick to dancing. She rumba'd and she samba'd in her favorite flowered skirt. She skipped across the crowded plains and kicked up clouds of dirt. Hippa, hippa, bounce, bounce, thump, thump, thump. Hilda must be dancing, said the rhinos in distress. If she'd only take up singing, then she wouldn't make a mess. Hilda tried to hum and croon, but found she couldn't hold a tune. She tired of it very soon. I think I'll stick to dancing. At the water hole, she boogied in her favorite disco pants. She muddied up the river and she trampled down the plants. Shaka, shaka, boom, boom, bump, bump, bump. Hilda must be dancing, wailed the water buffalo. If she'd only take up swimming, we might get some peace, you know. And so Hilda wallowed by the shore. She'd never felt so grand before. Now here's a hobby I adore. Water ballet dancing. In her favorite two-piece suit, she whirled and twirled with flair. Best of all, the ground stayed still. She floated light as air. And while she swam and danced in bliss, it sounded quite a lot like this. Kerplop, kerplop, plunk, dunk, swish, glubbity-glub, glubbity-gub, splash, sploosh, splish. A big crowd gathered at the shore. They cheered and clapped and called for more. Her friends cried out, "Hooray, encore, Hilda, keep on dancing." And so she did. So Hilda and her friends found something that Hilda could do, which was dancing in the water, but that would make sure that she didn't disturb her friends with all the banging and booming. So that was a great story and included lots of rhythm for our read to the rhythm. All right, since that was our last story, it is time to say goodbye, but I hope that we will see you here this summer, and you will come and sign up for summer reading and come and see all of our fun programs. We have lots of stuff going on at the library, and if you do come in, let us know that you're watching us. All right, goodbye.